So this is about the 10,000 hour fallacy from the book Focus by Daniel Goleman. So Daniel gives an example here of this lady called Susan Butcher who won the Iditarod race. So this is basically a sledge race with dogs, and she changed the way she did it to 6-hour shifts. Typically the races did 12-hour shifts, and she spent hours and hours preparing and improving. And so the big deal about this is she won this race 4 times. And at the time, most men thought that a woman would never be able to win this race. So Daniel talks about practice, and he gives an example here of a golf swing. If you practice the same bad swing for 10,000 hours, it's not going to help. So what does help is, rather than just spending 10,000 hours doing something, continually adjusting your execution over and over, and you tweak the system and carry on pushing to improve. He talks about needing an expert coach, so training over months and years, and giving your full concentration to something. So smart practice is about having a feedback loop, so identifying errors and correcting them. And then learning to improve a skill requires top-down focus, so you have to keep using your top brain. So he talks about never stop learning, and he talks about the fact that after 50 hours you can start doing something automatically, like driving a car. So you start using your subconscious brain. But if you want to keep improving, you need to focus and avoid this bottom-up automation. He talks about meditation and how this can train your ability to concentrate for longer. And he talks about positivity here. And positivity opens your mind to possibilities. He gives this example of Larry David, who'd just done a show, and he had like 50,000 fans screaming how great he was. And then as he left, there was one person that kind of said that he sucked. And the fact that he was actually focusing on this one person that said this one bad thing, rather than the 50,000 who loved it. So negativity focuses your mind on yourself. And then there's this idea of 10 years from now, if everything worked out perfectly in life, what would you be doing in 10 years' time? He talks about high-performing teams, and this needed the right ratio of positive to negative feelings, and typically this was 2.9 positive to 1 negative. So, this is opposed to teams that had like 10 positive to 1 negative. So it had to be the right mix here. And he talks about having dreams about what they're doing. So the purpose comes first, and then that can lead to high-performing teams. Thanks. That's everything I have about the 10,000 hour fallacy from the book Focus by Daniel Goleman. Carry on watching for the next video.